Good morning and welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show. I'm Zach. Thanks for being with me. I'm glad to be with you. I'm glad for another day on this earth, and I thank God for it. I thank God for another day to be alive. And I really thank Him for another day in the greatest country He's ever put on the face of this earth. He's created more freedom through this country than ever before in the history of the world, both religiously and economically, and from a rights standpoint. I mean, we are so blessed to live here. The poorest among us are the richest in the world. We are the top 1% of the world. We are the peak of what you can be. It's our job to maintain it. It's our job to talk about it. It's our job to embrace it and keep it and hold on to our traditions and then improve them. And that's the goal here. First of all, I'd like to thank our the sponsors of this show. I'd like to thank Mortgage Financial Services here in Texarkana. I'd like to thank Elmwood Custom Goods. And then I'd like to thank Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org. Without these three sponsors, this show wouldn't be possible, and their support means more to me than I can express. So, visit their websites, do the stuff. You can find links to them on my Facebook page, or, you can email me, the zacratliffshow@gmail.com or zacratliffshow@gmail.com, and, I'll tell you how to get a hold of them. But, instead of watching cat videos, you've got all the information in the world probably in the palm of your hand. There's a chance you're watching this, or at least listening to me on this. It's funny, as I've talked to people as the show is growing, people are like, oh, we didn't know you did video too. And look, I'm a good-looking guy. How can I not put myself on video? So there's that. I've said like 5 times in the last little bit, so I'll try to watch that out. Okay. I wanted to get to, I'm just going to work this backwards through my notes here. I'll start with the most recent, then we'll go back through the weekend. But the one thing is, they up in Idaho, did you all hear about this shooter over the weekend? They think he started a forest fire, and then as the firefighters got there, he had a sniper's nest basically, and like a coward was shooting the firefighters as they came, and they couldn't get to him. They couldn't find him. So finally the sheriff said, hey, if you're armed and you come across this guy, kill him. Take him out. That's exactly right. You know what? Bad guys can get guns, so can the good guys. He said, hey, we don't need this threat. Here's the deal. This guy that they found, I'm interested to see what they say. I always say this, if he was a conservative white Christian, they would already have said that 1,000,000 times over, and he may very well be. But if he is, it's going to be interesting that they haven't pointed that out as soon as they found this body that they found. Now, the thing with that is that there's some people on X saying, hey, just because you found a body doesn't mean it's his. He could have killed somebody, moved them up there, and then gone back and got away. So I'm just praying for all the people up there in Idaho, and I don't know how to say the name of the county. It's Kootenia or Nai, but man, what a horrible deal. People are crazy. Let's just deal with that. People are crazy. We all need Jesus, and it's just wild that. It's just wild that this kind of thing happens. Thank God for our law enforcement and all of that. Okay, here's one thing I wanted to get into that I saw this morning. It says, this is from Politico.com. The White House eyes a Kentucky state senator to challenge Thomas Massie. So I've got mixed emotions on this, everybody. I like most of what Thomas Massie has to say. However, he is... Now, if he's doing the will of his people, it doesn't matter if they challenge him because his constituents are going to support him. But, So, I don't know. So here, I've got two different trains of thought on this. One, if I was the president, I've always thought this. If I ran for president, I would go put my name behind everybody I thought was going to support me. And I mean, I've thought this for years. And then I've got it all mapped out how I'll do it in my head, right? And then I would challenge all those that don't. That's what comes with the power. If you have an agenda, which admittedly Donald Trump does, and most of us, well, 77 million of us voted for that agenda, and we agree with most of it. So he's got an agenda. He's going to eliminate every obstacle that he can from getting in the way of it. That's a big deal. So on that side of it, I'm like, okay. On the other side, I'm like, hey, Thomas Massey's doing what his constituents want. But if that's the case, then he has no worries. All the weight of the world can come on him. And if he's doing what the people that put him in power do or want, then he has no worries. So I just find that, interesting. And so we'll see what happens. I do think Trump's going to bring a challenge. We'll just see. Yeah, like I said, we'll just see what happens. Okay, moving on. CNBC.com, Canada rescinds its digital services tax after Trump cuts off U.S. trade talks. So Canada came out over the weekend, said, hey, we're going to retroactively tax you for digital services back like 3 years. Trump's like, no, you're not doing that. We're just cut all trade. Canada needs us more than we need them. But what's wild is, why do all these countries keep thinking they can do that to Donald Trump? We are not under the Biden administration anymore. We are not to be pushed around. And I'm glad people are realizing it. When are you going to flex your little muscles? You gonna show what you do with your beach ball and which way the beach is for the camera, little boy? I know. Don't play all that. We're the big dogs now. It's just crazy that these leaders can't realize what is happening. Anyway, they've rescinded it. Everybody's going to pat each other on the butt and be nice, and it'll be okay. Now, I saw this. This is from Johnny Midnight, and it was sent to me over the weekend. It's on X.com, Johnny Midnight. It's the 9 principles of propaganda. You all let me know if this is, if this seems like anything to you. Number 1, the big lie. Big lies work better than small lies because the masses won't believe that anyone would lie about that. Number 2, focus. Don't make it complicated. Ignore history. Keep simple minds for simple minds. Keep it simple for simple minds. Sounded like I had a simple mind trying to read that. Number 3, repeat. People cannot tell the difference between facts and familiarity. Familiarity. I can't say that word. Familiarity. The same words repeated over and over become true in their minds. There you go. Number 4, blame. Never credit the other side. Always blame, debase, defame, and dehumanize. Does this sound like anybody we know? Does this sound like any party that we know of? Number 5, provoke. Outrage, fear, resentment are more powerful than reason, logic, or facts. I mean, look, I see that in my own life. Anytime I go into a debate with someone, what about this? And just all emotional and mad. I'm like, hey, yeah, that's just not right. I mean, we get excited about it. Number 6, crisis. Issue must be life and death, good versus evil. Listen, it is good versus evil right now. Now, I mean, if you don't think it is, as Earl Pitts, the Native American redneck, used to say on the radio, wake up, America. It is good and evil right now. But anyway, love versus hate, us versus them, urgency defeats objection. So that's their crisis. Number 7, emotion. A person might question facts, but they will never question their own feelings. And that's why the Bible is very clear that the heart can be deceptive, right? Lean not on your own understanding, but on that of God. Number 8, pander. Praise allies generously. Demonize all who disagree as having bad intentions or non-expert. 9, no limit. The victor's morality won't be questioned. Morality is for losers. That's exactly right. The means justify the end. We're going to rape you, kill you, all the things as long as we can get there. Does that sound like any certain group coming out of, certain regions of the world? To put our religious leader in. Those are the ways. Those are the 9 principles of propaganda. And look, each side, right? Conservative, liberal, communist, or non-communist, liberal, or I already said liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican. They all use varying degrees of this. So I'm not necessarily trying to point this all as only one side, because it's not one-sided. We just have to know when we're being propagandized. We have to know when it's being used against us. And so, anyway, now we do. Oh, this is back to that Idaho sheriff thing. What he actually said was, if you have a clean shot on the shooter, take them out. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So here's the thing from Charlie Kirk. You may think Alligator Alcatraz, I don't know if y'all have heard about that yet, but it's the prison going in Florida, is a bit much. You may think ICE raids at Home Depots are harsh. You may think sending gangbangers to a top security Salvadorian prison seems cruel. You may think mass deportations is a mean policy. But each leads to thousands and eventually millions of self-deportations. When illegals know there are real consequences for breaking into America, many, perhaps a majority, will conclude it's no longer worth the risk and return home. Now, I manage properties, and on a couple of units, I noticed some people that just left. They just got out of there. Now that happens all the time, but I think it could be attributed to this. Oh, here's the deal: Senator Tom Tillis didn't vote with the Republicans over the weekend for the big beautiful bill, and Trump's like, "Hey, we're gonna primary you," and so but now get the Paul Harvey of it. The rest of the story, he's not running for re-election, so he can show himself to be the rhino he is, and that's what he's doing. And he ain't worried about getting reelected. So now what that means is, just to ungray it for everybody, he's going to be a thorn in Trump's side all the way through 2026. Just know that that's what's coming. Through 2026, we're going to have to fight Tom Tillis, because now that he said he's not running, he's going to show how liberal he is. Now, look, nobody invites me to the meetings. I wasn't in his, I wasn't with his team when they discussed how they were going to unroll it, but that's what's coming. So, this is interesting. This is from Laura Loomer on X.com, and this is just a thought. There's currently a very well-funded, coordinated effort to brand all speech about Islamic terror as Islamophobia, to silence everyone who speaks about the truth. And then she says Republicans better push back on this. Here's the thing. That's the playbook, right? We know that to be, it doesn't matter if it's about race or sex or now Islamophobic. You're either homophobic, racist, Islamophobic, whatever. You don't like dogs. You're caninophobic, whatever it is. You have a phobia of equestrian. You're equestrian phobic because you won't pet my horse. And that makes you a bad person. No, we're just talking about what's happening in the world. But that's the thing. The powers that be, the elites, want to silence us. Right? They want us to be quiet. Know our role. Like The Rock used to say, baby, know your role and shut your mouth. That's what they're telling us. We just can't do it. We can't give in. We can do it with kindness. We don't have to be nice. We can do it with kindness. We can do it with facts. We have to talk about these things, though. We can't be scared into submission. Now, I talk about scared into submission. This is from Right Angle News Network on X.com. Breaking. The Minneapolis City Council has approved a measure making Minneapolis the first major U.S. city to officially allow the Islamic call to prayer to be broadcast publicly 5 days a week. Can you imagine the outrage if through all the tornado systems in your town, or through the emergency management system on your cell phone, or whatever way, every morning when you woke up it says, hey, don't remember to tell Jesus thanks for the day, and at night, don't remember to pray for a good night's sleep. Don't remember to pray, to tell God thank you for all he's given us. Don't remember to worship Jesus today, or don't forget to worship Jesus today. Can you imagine the outrage that people would have if that happened? If 5 times a day you broadcast it across wherever you live, hey, make sure and give a shout out to Jesus here in public, in a very public display for the next few minutes. You'd be blackballed. I get looked at weird because I pray in restaurants. You know, that's not a braggadocio thing. I just notice people looking at me strange. Could be my good looks. Just not used to seeing big man so good looking. But anyway, it is what it is. So then this is talking about that vote. J.D. Vance went in there and handled stuff. It says, hey, J.D. Vance did in 4 hours what John Thune couldn't do in 4 months. Yeah, because J.D. Vance means business. J.D. Vance is doing what he needs to do. And then, I don't know if anybody's paying attention. Social Security payments went down 7% for the month of June. What happened? It's like we cleaned out some of it. It's the largest drop in since July of 1971. Look, when we're told they're taking away they're trying to get rid of Social Security and get rid of Medicare and Medicaid. No, we're just trying to take the fraud out of it. Just trying not to pay people who don't deserve it. Trying to have enough money to support our own citizens. And it's a wild thing. It's just a wild thing, is what it is. Okay, I don't know if you all saw it over the weekend. We had some big Supreme Court victories. Let's see. I've got to get to some different notes for that. Well, the number one thing was on the birthright citizenship. That case really wasn't decided, okay? So what was decided was on a 6-3, the quote-unquote conservatives versus the liberal wing of the court came out and said, hey, one judge can't decide for the whole country. You can't put an injunction. You can just put an injunction on those in the lawsuit for their case. So one judge can't be supreme lord of the country, right? He can't rule everybody. It's like we have a constitution that says this. And that's what they went back to. And I think some 1780 law showing that, right? Or at least, and so anyway, there's precedent set. So now all these injunctions that have come out against everything that Trump has done, they're going away. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And so I'm glad the court went that way. I'm glad that it's gonna support constitutionality for not just this president, but every president going forward. Checks and balances. That's what they're there for. And the judiciary just got checked by the Supreme Court, and that's good to see. Now, the other big ruling was there was a case, I think it was out of Maryland, where if parents didn't agree with, whatever the subject matter was, and in this case it was LGBT or however many letters there are on that now, and all that being taught in their school, they could pull their kid out of that class for that period. In that state, it was found that they could not do that. And the Supreme Court said, no, this is religious freedom. If you don't want your kid learning about that, they don't have to. Didn't say they don't have to teach it. Didn't say it was illegal to teach it. It just said, hey, if you don't want your kids to learn this, you're still their parent. You're in control. And that's what we have to tell the government. I'm the parent. You're the parent. We are allowed to let our kids know what we want them to know, what we accept as a civil Western society based in Christianity, that this is where we are. You know, who was it that said the Constitution without Christianity wouldn't work? Without a moral society, it doesn't work. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And this doesn't have anything to do with the last story. But this is why we have to realize that our founders were Christians and they were educated. And that's what we're based on. You know, one of the 45 tenets of communism, as read into the congressional record, June of 1963, was to vilify the founding fathers so that you didn't trust them, so that you ripped down their statues, so that you rename army bases, so that they were just old white slave owners. That's what continues to happen to this day, and we need to realize it. All right, everybody, I've got work to do. I've got things to see. I'm sure you do too. I hope God blesses each and every one of you today. I'll be back. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Have a good day, and see you then.